Good morning. I'm Rich Bernardo, Dr. Rich Bernardo, and it is Sunday morning, 10:33 thereabouts. And I thought it would be time to post a video, a Zoom video to you so that we could begin to understand more about what we're all about. But quite frankly, my wife will tell you before I will tell you that I have a habit of repeating myself. I have a habit of repeating myself, which is probably goes back to my 51 years of teaching in one place or another. So I will repeat myself probably within this Zoom video and also when I go live with you this coming Wednesday. But the purpose of this is really two things. The first one being just to do some real quick housekeeping pieces, and secondly to go through the syllabus. I'm going to go through the syllabus again on Wednesday night, so that you have a chance to ask questions and get clarification. So that I thought I'd do it here so that we could sort of get ahead of it a little bit by your having looked at it. I get the impression that maybe about a third of you have looked at the syllabus, and those are the ones who have sent me your biographies, which is the first assignment. It's a non-graded assignment, but it is an assignment. And I look forward to your introducing yourself to me, as I have introduced myself to you, as a matter of fact, before Wednesday. I'm not looking for a dissertation. I'm not looking for uh, uh, soul bearing, soul searching autobiography. I just kind of want to find out who you are and what you're all about. Frankly, I do have a bias. I have many biases, but one bias I will admit to is that when I teach any courses for Stony Brook and for the certificate level approaches, I do teach most of my teaching presently is at St. John's in the doctoral level. But when I teach at the certificate level, I treat the course as if every person in the class wants to become an administrator. And I'm presuming or hoping that the great majority of you, if not all of you, are interested in that. So that's how I intend to treat you, so that you can get all the competencies and, more importantly, get all the dispositions that you need to have to make yourself a superior school leader. If you choose not to go down that path, that's fine. I can't put a gun between your eyes. However, I will promise you, money back guarantee, that you will learn some things about yourself, learn some things about schooling and then leadership that will never have occurred to you before. That is a money back guarantee. So that's one piece. The second thing I guess I should say before I go any further is that I wish you all safety. I don't even know what to say after that. I wish you all safety. I hope that you're all safe and secure in your homes, and that all of your loved ones are also safe and secure. And if, heaven forbid, any of you are dealing with illness of any kind, feel free to send me an email confidentially and tell me that I need to know that, so that I'll just understand where you are in the continuum. And I hope everything works out for all of us very well down the road. I had to cancel my trip to Disney World, and everybody was pretty upset about that yesterday when I pulled the plug on it, which was this early April, right before Easter. And finally, I said, "Well, the bottom line is we're all healthy, knock on wood, so far. So I guess we should be thankful for that, and well, we can only hope that everybody can go to any Disney World they want to go to, or do anything they want as quickly and as rapidly as possible. And part of that, obviously, uh, requires that we do what we're doing now for the foreseeable future. So I wish you all safety uh, and health, and safety in that order. And I hope that again you'll share with me that if there's something I need to know, heaven forbid, I have some relatives in my own family whom we're very concerned about. So I get it, and I'll be happy to work with you on that. All right, so this recording will be up as soon as I finish recording it up on our YouTube channel. I'll post to the Zoom. I'll post this. I'll post to Blackboard, and then we'll take it from there. So what I'm going to do now is share my screen with you. I should also say I've sent you the link to catch up to me come Wednesday. If you're not familiar with Zoom, it's really very easy. It doesn't cost you anything. You just click on the link, and I'll be there at about 4 o'clock. and I'll ask you just to introduce yourself, and then I'll do a talking head. I'll be just doing all of my talking and probably not asking too much of any of you so specifically, except perhaps when I get a little deeper into the lesson agenda. You're also going to get a lesson agenda posted to you Monday or Tuesday. So I have it done, but I'm not sure I like everything that's in there yet. You'll see how we're going to take you through this course. And I'm talking too much. So I'm going to share the screen and chat you through if I can find it, chat you through the syllabus. And here is the syllabus. You all have a copy of the syllabus in Blackboard. And I will tell you that I have a strange opinion about syllabi. I was an assistant superintendent for instruction for a long time, and I consider myself an expert in curriculum and instruction. And yet, much as I understand the value of syllabi, I don't like to be painted into the corner too much with them either. So I reserve the right to change things that are here as the course unfolds. And we'll take it from there. So here we go. There's my name. You spell my name with a T, not with an R-D-O, as many people tend to do. There's my cell phone number. Feel free to text me or to call me if you have to at that number. I'm fine with that. Please don't call me like after 9 o'clock or thereabouts, but certainly if there's something you need to speak to me about, that's the way to do it. That's my Stony Brook email address. I also have a Gmail address I'm going to put here, actually. Now, I'm told, I'm going to destroy this recording as soon as possible, he smiled. I'm told that we're not only supposed to use the Stony Brook email, but if you don't tell anybody, I won't tell anybody. So you can email me at that one if you need to as well. Of course, meets on Wednesdays. And there are the dates, March 25th over to June 10th. Originally, we were supposed to meet in Brentwood, and I think all but one person I'm aware of, all of you are cheer. One lady I think is from Northport that I recall, those of you who've written the bio for me. I'm very familiar with Brentwood in lots of ways. I've done quite a bit of state education consulting there over the years. And did some things this past summer and last year with physical education department through Ann Palmer, who's become a good friend. And I know several principals there, or knew several principals there. I used to know a couple of your superintendents as well. So I know I have some familiarity with Brentwood, for those of you who go there. And if you are from another district, having been assistant superintendent myself and a professor at Dowling, I was assistant dean there, as well as a professor at Queens College at one time, as well as a professor at St. John's, and now at Stony Brook, and having done my share of consultancies across time. I know a lot of people, and so I know your district pretty well. I forgot what I was trying to say as far as what that is concerned. So we have the dates there. If you can't make one of the dates, I'm not going to give you makeup work. This is, we're all over 21. But I do expect you to find out what you missed. And one way to do that would be to start with the lesson agenda that's there and checking in with me. But I also would hope that you take the time to check in with a colleague. And I wrote and I highlighted, please note that this course will begin online. At that point, I understood it was supposed to begin online and eventually get to Brentwood. But my money is that we're going to never meet each other face to face. I hope that we do. I truly, truly hope that we do. But my money is that we will not. So this course will be and probably be an online class, certainly for the foreseeable future. I'm not crazy about teaching online, by the way, but I've gotten pretty good at making everything happen the way I want. And my biggest problem that I found is that I found that students aren't so great at participating online in the same way they would be expected to participate in the classroom. And I'm going to come from that frame that I want you to contribute to us, if not online live on Wednesdays, certainly asynchronously through the discussion threads I'll begin to post and I'll talk more about it on Wednesday. Now, I'm not going to read all of this to you. You can read it yourself. This is right out of the course, right out of the Stony Brook catalog, but I will read the highlights, and there they are. The course is really devoted to innovation and change, and I'm pretty good at that, so we'll have some fun with that. And to help you recognize how effective instructional practice, which is intellectually challenging, culturally responsive, which is a big issue, and I'll spend some time on that, authentic for you, and help you recognize your own children's, students' strengths, as well as your own, to make that happen. Now, you see those things in green, 3F, 3H, 4D, and so forth. Those are, I've highlighted the PSEL standards. I'm sure you're familiar with those already. That Stony Brook and all leadership administration programs in the state are actually across the country and must adhere to. And so what we did was we just kind of highlighted which of the PSEL standards are reflected from the yellow to the green. So to continue along those lines, we were looking at the value and applicability of emerging trends, and we are going to beat that one hard. I promise you that. As well as talk about how we empower and entrust teachers with collective responsibility. I feel very strongly about that. I'll talk about that ad nauseum as we get deeper into the course. I noticed that at least one of the people who responded to me, I think is pretty involved in her teachers union, and that's fine, because then she gets it. She understands empowering and entrusting teachers with collective responsibility. She gets that. Her perspective may not be necessarily the same as mine sometimes, but she gets it. And I value that point of view greatly, having been a union official for some time, way back before any of you were born. All right, so we go to administrative decision making. We're going to actually begin with that this coming Wednesday. And I'll just plant an acorn with you and say to you, if I ask you to close your eyes and to picture what a decision looks like. Picture what a decision looks like. Could you tell me? I count to 6. Those of you who understand old-fashioned instructional pedagogy know that 6, counting to 6 seconds usually invites, that's called teacher wait time, as all of you probably know. And I'm hoping that somebody is screaming at the screen. I know what a decision physically looks like, or not. And continuing that point, we're going to confront you with the issues associated with instructional leadership, and you're going to do that for us. Okay, and I'll explain that better on Wednesday. And of course, we need to do data-driven decision-making. That's the lingua franca of most everything in the past 20 years. Although I think people misunderstand what that's exactly about, and we'll talk about that a bit. And this issue of climate for change, very important. Without a doubt, very, very important. And we'll talk more about that Wednesday, actually. Enough said. So that's the course description. There are 2 books that you must have. One is Ken Foreman's book with Dr. Westervelt, diving into data. I won't lie to you. I'm not going to tell you that we're going to use that book page to page, but we will use the book and premises from it. I look at that book more nearly as a source book, but a book that I want you to have. Okay. And I'm a little bit embarrassed, but I think I also required my book, because we are going to use it. Again, I'm not going to have you read it from page 1 to page 100 and whatever the last page is. But I will promise you that the book will have great meaning to the things we're talking about in the class. That's a money-back guarantee. I get 75 cents a book on royalties. So since there's 15 of you, I guess that's about $20 I might get out of that. If we were in a regular classroom, I would take the $20 and donate it to the class's favorite charity, or buy us all pizza. So we'll talk about that. Somebody can remind me about that. But those are the 2 books I want you to have. One student expressed concern that Amazon might not be so responsive in delivering books, because it's obviously not a non-essential item. And my answer to her was, do the best you can. I mean, it's totally up to you. I'm not going to give you a 0, have you go stand in the corner if you don't have the book on Wednesday, although I hope that you do, both books. My book is also on Kindle. I think it's on Nook too. I'm not sure about that. So you can save a few dollars if you wanted to use it off Kindle. Almost all the books I buy nowadays are electronic myself. And so that's your decision. There's no way I can put a gun between your eyes to help you decide that. Now, I took this list actually from Dr. Foreman. So I'm familiar with most of them, not all of them. And I liked them a lot, so I left them on there. Anything that has anything to do with the Wallace Foundation is good. So if you see something about with the word Wallace in it, get it as such. Those are good books good readings to have. And I will promise you, as sure as you are sitting there, and I am sitting here, that I will be posting more books and things to read very rapidly, and videos. I'm a big video guy. In fact, that's something I'm going to be expecting you to do prior to a class pretty soon, very soon. Now, I'm not going to read you all the goals, rather all the PSEL outcomes. They go back to that piece up here with the green, but I will read you the goals very, very quickly. In terms of mission and values and core values, people talk about that, but don't necessarily drink the Kool-Aid about that. And so I have at least 2 goals that we're going to be working with that. And that would be, first of all, to recognize change processes for what they are and how or whether they align with futuring. And you never heard that word until just now. I promise you that's a word that will be something you'll know before the course is over, because that's futuring is about change, as well as decision making. And we'll talk about decision making a couple of different ways, but we'll be talking about it actually the first night out this coming Wednesday. First afternoon out, I should say. Also, we're going to create and sustain collaborative problem solving and input among stakeholders. That's another goal. People, again, talk that talk, but aren't really very good about that. Forgive me for being a wise guy, but that's my experience. Next set of goals has to do with instructional practice, and I have one goal for that, to learn strategies to promote collegial and professional support and common recognition of research-based effective instructional strategies. That's about supervision of instruction. Fairly new to the Sternberg program, I'm assuming there's a course about supervision of instruction. If there isn't, there should be one. So I'm not going to teach you everything you need to know about instructional supervisory practices, but I mean, that's the first thing that all administrators, whether you're the superintendent or you're the department chair for Department X, that's about supervision. And it's a skill that we either we sorely lack it or terribly inconsistent about. We've gotten better at it, I think. I know Ann Palmer is all about that in Brentwood. But that's something that you will need some help to help lead that through as such. Next goal down, recognizing new strategies and dispositions intended to assure a futures-based culture. There's that word again. There's another word there too that you should be paying attention to, and that's that word culture, which we will be beating hard, especially in the beginning, with the ability to sustain a coalesce and collaborative sense of purpose and mission. We're all flowery words, but we'll dig down deep into them as such. And the last goal, again, I reserve the right to drop some and add some as the course evolves, depending on how I read you folks. Able to use all leadership skills to assure an action design that meets the goals above. I almost never say what I'm about to say, but I'm saying it now. I might say it Thursday again when I go back through the syllabus, and that will be that you're going to take a test. Presuming you want to get your certification, you're going to take 2 tests if you want both of them. And the test is going to have something that's going to have you show that you know how to engage other folks in action designing towards some sort of meaningful change. And it isn't as though you just take 6 people in a room and lock them in there and say, okay, guys, change. It doesn't work that way. There's many, many nuances associated with that. And you will have them in your arsenal when we're finished. Okay, this is what people always think about, and this is a little complicated, so stay with me. Assignment expectations. So one is do everything I tell you to do, which is read all your handouts and prepare for the class. And there's 10% for that. And by the way, I don't pay a lot of attention to the 10% things or the 50% things in terms of the fractions. but in case someone asks, that's how I'm looking at it. You're going to do case study analyses. I'm going to assume, since this is probably, I guess, your third class, I'm going to assume that you've already done some of these things, because this is the kind of much the expectation across the Stony Brook program. I'm not real fond of how we approach it here, so I kind of reduce some of the percentage expectations on this. But the bottom line is you're going to create or find a case study. I'm going to pair you up with somebody, maybe with two people, but likely with just another person. I'm going to pair you up with people, and you're going to either produce, or I'm going to give you, or you're going to find by research or through one of the books listed below, a good problem for us to take a look at. You'll clear that problem with me before you connect to it. So I don't want everybody doing the same problem. I want to coordinate that. There's plenty of problems to go around. And basically what you're going to do is present that to the class. And so what I'll do this Wednesday is probably, pair you up and give you some chances to talk to each other. If not Wednesday, certainly, of course, the days in between Wednesdays, to pull yourselves together. And then we'll get a schedule together about how you're going to present. And then you can see that there's a template for it. And I give you the right to change your mind on that. And again, this is kind of based on what the state testing is about. I don't think too much of this on one level. And what will happen, but what will happen is you'll come in with an issue, and suddenly I'll take off with it and spin you in 53 places, and we'll generate a pretty good conversation about most everything there. So that's the second assignment. First assignment is the bio. 6 or 7 of you have done that. The other 7 or 8 have not. Second assignment is the case study analysis. Now the third one is a bigger one. That's worth 25%, and this is more important, quite frankly, again, for your preparation to satisfactorily pass the exams. And this is called an APA, Authentic Performance Activity. And you can see that basically, and I'm going to assume that you've done this probably in 502, if not 501. So I'm assuming you've already done this and know what this is about. So I'm not going to read it all to you today. And it's going to be an issue where you're going to take data, you're going to crunch the data down, use some specific skills that I show you to parse it back, and then come up with strategies to take care of it. And I put that in green just to point that out, that it is an APA. It's something we all have to do. Everybody taking this course from Montauk to Brooklyn is doing this assignment as well. And now, but here in yellow, you're going to see this is going to might throw you a little bit. All right, there's an instructional leadership project. Now watch how it goes down. Or, in fact, what we'll do is we'll make that bigger so you can see there's a difference here. A data-driven leadership project. You have a choice of either or. You don't have to do both. You pick one with another person in a group. And again, I'll assign you to groups, or you can assign yourselves. It doesn't matter to me a whole lot. And they're pretty much self-explanatory, but I will go over them more thoroughly over the next couple of weeks, and more specifically on Thursday. So you must do an APA. This is the APA, either the leadership project or the data-driven school leadership project. My money is you take the second one rather than the first, but I'm not going to put a gun between your eyes to do that. And you're going to present it to the class. Okay? Now this next one, this one in purple, I guess that's purple, is the simulation that we might not do. In fact, I'm kind of pretty sure we won't be doing, because quite frankly, it's a board, B-O-A-R-D simulation. And I don't know how we can do that if you're here and I'm there. So, but if we don't do that, and I'll figure this out in a couple of weeks, assuming we know whether we're ever going to meet face to face, because it can certainly wait a while. Then I know how to amend this. So bottom line is you're going to do some kind of description or paper, probably an analysis. If we don't do it this way, you're probably going to do some kind of individual analysis of the systems disciplines that exist in your building or district. And that'll be pretty important, actually, for numbers of other reasons as well. So either we'll do the simulation together, which I much prefer doing, so it'll be fun. But if we can't do it because we can't see each other, I'll either create another simulation online, which I can do, or I will assign this as a paper. So I'll be prepared to go either way with that, which makes you really realize I have to add something to the bibliography. I think we are going to do a simulation now. That's called alchemy. And what you're going to do that simulation, and you can see that's got the most highest expectation in terms of work. That's a 40%. And I'm not even going to try to explain this on the syllabus. You're going to be put into 2 teams, maybe 3, but probably 2 teams. And the 2 teams are going to be working with somewhat against each other to solve a major issue in a make-believe school district, all the way through. And you will learn skills, practice skills, and master competencies that you just never heard of before that will actually, quite frankly, enable you to do a lot of other things as well. So I answer a bing there. I'm sorry about that. And so this will be fun, though. I will promise you. I'm probably making you seasick here, going through all this. This will be fun. This last piece, but it will make your hair hurt too. In fact, I'm thinking out loud, and maybe I'll push this up earlier in the course so that it will help you do the APA. That might be a nice way to approach this, but that's my decision for now. So those are that's the syllabus. I mean, there's the usual pieces about confidentiality and so forth, but I don't feel the need to do that with you yet. Now, understand too, and I apologize because I repeat myself, that I'm going to go over this again on Wednesday. So please be sure to sign on at 4 o'clock, 4:10, no later than that, so that I can kick into this and talk about the other issues like finding me. Somebody remind me about that. I mean, how to contact me and some of my other expectations, which I don't think I did. Maybe I don't even need to do that again. So that's where we are. I will promise you that you're going to get a fair dose of theory, but I also promise you that the theory will be ground with, and embedded into lots of practice issues, so that you can walk both sides of the street and adopt them into your own leadership philosophy, and to embed those into how you can show New York State that you know how to be a leader as such, and hopefully practice some of those things in your internship. So that's it. If those of you see this video and have a question, feel free to email me or text me. Tell me who you are if you text me, because I won't know. And if not, I will see you on Wednesday. Take care.